Tonight, Chief Justice and Attorney General trade blame over the failure of the justice system to expedite prosecution of Galamsey criminals. As it emerges, more than 140 cases are still pending before the courts.
Your leadership, I therefore respectfully call on you to direct all judges sitting on Galamsey cases to conclude the cases, the hearing of which has started within 1 month from the commencement of the legal year.
On the issue of delays in Galamsey cases, the Attorney General will acknowledge that our engagements have shown that the delays often come from the work of prosecutors.
We have the latest with just 8 days more to go before organized labor shuts down the country with its indefinite anti-Galamsey strike. And top story is always brought to you by Telecel, connecting energy's holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. The anti-Galamsey pressure has reached fever pitch. Even the Chief Justice is feeling it, with just 8 more days for organized labor to shut down the country with its indefinite strike. The Chief Justice has today been trading blame with the Attorney General over the failure of the justice system to expedite prosecution of Galamsey criminals. It has emerged there are more than 140 cases still pending before the courts without resolution. The Attorney General, Godfrey Adame, blames it on the judges. Listen to him speak at the Judges and Magistrates Conference today.
Illegal mining known as Galamsey continues to wreak incalculable damage to the forest reserves and river bodies of the country. A major setback to the struggle against Galamsey is the rate of adjudication and punishment of offenders. The deterrence to Galamsey sought to be achieved by the amendment to the Minerals and Mining Act in 2019 by requiring a punishment for a minimum of 15 years plus a heavy fine in the case of a Ghanaian and a minimum of 20 years plus a hefty fine for a non-Ghanaian. It's not aided by the tiredness of our courts in completing Galamsey cases. Convictions are secured, but they come in trickles. Currently, over 140 cases of illegal mining involving over 850 accused persons are pending in courts in the Western, Eastern, Ashanti, Greater Accra, and Upper East regions of Ghana. Some have been pending since 2020. This situation, with all respect, cannot be right. We are in urgent national crisis, and all citizens and institutions with any form of role to play must be called upon to act. Your leadership, I therefore respectfully call on you to direct all judges sitting on Galamsey cases to conclude the cases, the hearing of which has started within 1 month from the commencement of the legal year on 10th October 2024. Reasonably, it can be done. But of course, it's always subject to the discretion of the courts. And the judges are in control of the courtrooms. And as I said, justice is dispensed in accordance with the rules of procedure and the law. So insofar as rules of procedure permit, so be it.
But the Chief Justice, Gatu Tokono, will have none of that. She says prosecutors at the AG's department are to blame.
Petitions about delays through unending adjournments of cases. There's no need for a court to adjourn a case after the case management conferences for mention. My firm view, developed from 20 years of sitting as a trial judge and appellate judge, is that it should not be the norm that parties are made to dress up, leave their businesses, spend money traveling, and spend time just sitting in a court premise only to hear the title of their case called out and told to come back another date. On the issue of delays in Galamsey cases, the Attorney General will acknowledge that our engagements have shown that the delays often come from the work of prosecutors.
Joining me on the line right now is the Deputy Attorney General, Fostina. I'm also joined by a former Attorney General, Nia Kotu, also joins me right now on this very important matter. Fostina, let me start with you. I just heard there in that clip from the CJ that in his had discussion with the Attorney General, there is an agreement that it is the fault is with your prosecutors. The delay we are talking about, do you concede, accept that?
Thank you very much, Evans. When it comes to criminal prosecution in court, basically you are talking about three parties. You are talking about the prosecution, you are talking about the defense, you're also talking about the court. But if you look at these three personalities I'm talking about, the one with the power to control proceedings is the judge. And definitely you have instances where the delays may also come from our side as prosecutors. And so I don't think the CJA is wrong on this call, but it's a tripartite system where each of the parties within that setup has a role to play.
So a tripartite system, but the Attorney General puts it on the judges. In fact, to the point that she's now asking the Chief Justice to direct the judges to deal with the cases within 1 month when they return from the legal vacation.
I think the judge has said, if you look at the three parties, the one with the power to control proceedings is the judge. And so if the judge insists that he's going to go on with the matter, whether parties come or not, or whether lawyers come or not, it is within the power of that judge so to do. Even if you are ready to prosecute the matter and the court or the judge is not ready to hear you, you cannot go on with it. So you're looking at a situation where the judges control their court as they've been doing all this while. But when it comes to these special cases, we want to have them heard expeditiously.
Yeah, but we've seen many cases, not even only in the prosecution of Galamsey cases, but in other instances where prosecutors go to court, ask for adjournments, persistent adjournments that they are asking for. The others sometimes not even showing up at all. They're asking for more time to complete investigations. In that case, what do you expect the judges to do?
Yes, that's why earlier I indicated that we may have instances where the adjournments may be occasioned by the prosecution, whether police prosecutors or lawyers from the Attorney General's office. But the power to control proceedings rests with the courts. And so if the courts are to impose dates, so to speak, on the parties, then they have no option but to comply with those orders. I can cite one example. When we did Aisha Wan's case, it took barely 1 year to finish that particular case.
And that was because of
lot of witnesses.
That was because of the judge?
The judge insisted on her timelines. And I'm also to commend counsel for the defense in that particular case. They also comply with all the orders that the court made. So at the end of the day, within a year, even though it's a complex matter, we're able to finish that particular case.
But if you take what the CJ is saying, though, considering, of course, and the Attorney General himself places this in the context of a national emergency, it paints a picture of how urgent this is. If the CJ is right, then there are cases from the Attorney General's office being prosecuted by some of your employees there who are not attaching as much seriousness as the AG himself is painting to these cases that they are prosecuting. You have admitted there are some. Isn't that, if it's even one, isn't that one too many?
It's not about not being serious with the prosecutions, but they may have a reasonable excuse. But excuse may be many. I can tell you, all the attorneys in the ministry who handle criminal prosecutions are always serious with their prosecutions. But we may have instances where attorneys may go to court and they may pray for an adjournment.
But you're making excuses for them, Chiayibwa.
I'm not making an excuse. I concede on that point that we may have instances. But I can tell you, whether police prosecutors or lawyers from the AG's office, a lot of them go by the orders of the court. And so if the courts are to give specific timelines, who are you to disobey the orders of the court? And that's the point that the AG is making. That moving forward, the judges, they have the power to control proceedings, and so they should make sure that when it comes to the position of cases, they exercise such powers.
I mean, considering that you can see that, yes, there may be some prosecutors who may not be attaching that seriously, they all may be delaying the process themselves, and you're asking the Chief Justice to do something about it. I mean, what have you done internally to get every single prosecutor handling a Galamsey case to attach the utmost seriousness and priority to it?
Yes, if you are handling a Galamsey case as a prosecutor and you're given a date by the court, you have no excuse not to be in court. You must be in court and do your work as a prosecutor.
And if they don't, I'm asking you, you are very clear on what you want the CJ to do. What is internal directive? What sanctions are in place? What mechanisms are you putting in place to ensure
that? If a prosecutor does not go on with the prosecution without any reasonable excuse, internally, we may want to create that prosecutor or that attorney to find out why on a specific date he was in court or he was not in court or he was in court but didn't prosecute a specific matter. And so internally, we are looking at all those things. But we have insisted that when you are given a date as a prosecutor, you must be in court to do your job as a prosecutor. Even if you are not going, especially from our ministry, and you have another colleague lawyer within the same group who is also well versed with the matter, he should be in court to prosecute the matter.
Please stay with me. I want to bring former Attorney General Nyayuko into the conversation. And you've been an Attorney General before. You've heard the Chief Justice. You've heard the Attorney General. Where do you stand?
Okay, thank you. I would even and the personnel involved. We have the judge, we have the prosecutor, we have defense counsel, we have interpreters, we have witnesses, we have the accused, and what I would call unnecessary adjournments. If the others are ready, but the judge has gone on the conference for which reason she is not sitting, the case cannot come on. If the prosecutor fails to appear in court and the defense counsel is ready, the case cannot go on. If the defense counsel is ready and the prosecutor is not there, the case cannot go on. You can have a problem of interpretation. Sometimes we joke with this our Ga language that we talk about. You see somebody who wants to give evidence in Ga, and they tell you there's no interpreter who can interpret. The case must have to suffer an adjournment. You are waiting for a witness to appear in court. The witness fails to appear, or for some reason the accused person himself is not well. You need all these people to be present at each point of the time for cases to proceed. And therefore, you cannot put the blame only on one party. Again, remember that with the lower courts, it is not the prosecutors at the Attorney General's Department who go to prosecute. In the few cases they do, but for magistrate and circuit courts, you have police prosecutors mainly who prosecute on behalf of the Attorney General. So you cannot also put all the blame on the AG's department. He might have done his work. The police head of prosecutions and police, judicial police or JUPO might have done their work. And yet the prosecutor who is supposed to be in court says he's attending a funeral in the Volta region, so he cannot come to court. So until we are able to deal with all these matters, we cannot blame only one party. They are all involved. A judge will not sit and he will never tell anybody. The people will travel from wherever they are coming from, only to get to the court to be told that the judge is attending a conference or the judge is not sitting today. That is all. They never give you information before the time. Even if you get to court early and you are waiting and you ask the court clerk, what is the position with Madam? It appears it's taking a little while. He says, I don't know, we have to wait. I have no instruction to adjourn. And you may have to sit down to about 11 o'clock before you are told that, oh, Madam has called from the house that is unable to come. So it all has to do with how do we manage adjournments. That is the main issue. How do we manage adjournment?
Yeah, I know you say that, but let's put this in context. We're talking about Galamsey, considering its catastrophic effect of what we're dealing with right now. I find it scandalous that they are trading blames right now on who is to blame for why cases before the courts dealing with Galamsey criminals have stalled. Where is the deterrence in that? Isn't that why this is important?
I'm giving you the background of adjournment. What we are talking about is nothing more than adjournment. So why do the cases suffer adjournment? And I'm telling you that together, these are the issues. Again, where you have a judge who is quick to grant an adjournment and is not ready to even proceed in the absence of one of the parties, then you get this thing happening all the time. But that is why I always say that sometimes when you ask a Superior Court judge to go and sit in the lower court and deal with cases day to day, they do those things, very fast, because they won't take any, tricks from any young lawyer who comes to stand in front of them giving findings of excuses and the rest.
And
that is the attitude that the judges should adopt.
On another point,
there are cases where a judge would tell the accused person that, look, your lawyer is not here. We are going to go on with the case because it was you who briefed your lawyer, and so you know the case better than your lawyer. Come on, go ahead. Ask questions. If you are having difficulty, I'll help you with your cross-examination. The way questions will be put. So until we bring all these guys, the dramatist personnel, as I call them, together to make sure that we want to get cases ahead, we're going to have difficulties. The adjournments will continue.
Do you suggest that the greater responsibility is with the judges?
I won't say that, because the judge will come to court and the prosecutor will not be there.
And you also touched on giving a dedicated court for this. One of the demands of organized labor is to have a special court to deal with Galamsey issues. Do you back that? Would that solve the problem?
Yes, I would back that with clear timelines, with no nonsense judges who would not listen to any unnecessary excuses for adjournment and want to proceed. I'm saying that we in our time, we've seen judges who would tell the accused person, yes, your lawyer is not here, but go ahead and do your own cross-examination. I'm not going to wait for your lawyer. But the accused person will be in court, his lawyer will not be there, and because of that, they will adjourn the case. Why? Why should they adjourn the case? The adjournment, if you people recall, when this Chief Justice was nominated, I was one of the very first persons who were called to make voices heard on the matter. And one of the things I said to her is that she should ensure that these unnecessary adjournments must cease. For example, I have stopped going to court now. I do more from my house, but I have my juniors who go to court. And I'm always beside myself with rage when they come and tell me the cases are being adjourned.
I mean, today we had the Attorney General ask the Chief Justice to direct all judges superintending over the 140 cases before them, as far as Galamsey is concerned, to deal with them within 1 month. Is that realistic?
Well, I do not think that it is unrealistic. It all depends upon how many witnesses, for example, the prosecution intends to call, how many witnesses the defense intends to call, and with a discovery where we all know what the evidence is going to be on either side. It's just a matter of allowing, relying on your statements and getting prosecutions and cross-examinations done quickly. So it is not unlikely. It can be done. I'm saying that we need everybody's presence. If one is absent, and I've given you the example of interpreter, you will be in court, everybody is ready, and we want a Ga interpreter. And you go to the court and tell them, they don't speak Ga. They say they don't understand. The guy insists, I'm going to speak Ga. And therefore, the case must have to suffer an adjournment until we are able to get an interpreter. You remember it even happened in the Aisha one when some of the Chinese said they wanted to speak Chinese. And we had to go looking for interpreters. So all these people play a part in that drama which takes place in court. And if you don't get them at the same time, nothing will get done. Get that.
I want to bring in Alfred Chayebo into this, the Deputy Attorney General. The organized labor asks for special courts dedicated to prosecuting offenders involved in illegal mining. Does the Attorney General's office support this?
Evans, there are special courts meant purposely to deal with Galamsey cases. If I'm not mistaken, I think over 14 of them each region has one court dedicated to illegal mining cases. That is what I know for now, but I don't think it's a wrong call, because we need courts that will be dealing with Galamsey matters. I know as a fact that if you go to the Boone region, the Ashanti region, and the other regions, there are specific courts earmarked for Galamsey matters.
Well, and as you know, since I have you on, Afrechon, as you know, organized labor have declared an indefinite strike starting on the 10th of this month. And there have been protests planned for tomorrow too. From the Attorney General's point of view, definitely you're looking at this. In fact, you are even prosecuting some of the demonstrators who breached the public order regulations around protests. How are you approaching resolving this matter? Because of course you have a voice, you still represent government. I have your own. I need to ask you that this protest has been set for tomorrow, but also there is an indefinite strike. How are you approaching this?
Yes, when it comes to the strike issue, I know that definitely the issues have been brought on the table. They are being studied, and at the appropriate time, definitely what decision that we will arrive at communicated to the public. In terms of the prosecution, you all know that these matters are before the court of law. Someone accused us have been remanded into prison and police custody. We're back to court on Monday or Tuesday. Then we'll continue with the prosecution.
A demand is to impose a state of emergency. I know when such issues of constitutional consequence is being considered by the president, the AG's opinion will be sought. I wonder if that has happened. Has the president been called to ask, is this something we should do, and how do we do within the constitutional remit?
Definitely, the demands are on the table and they are being studied. And so when a decision is taken on them, it will be communicated to the public.
Does the Attorney General's office have a position on the state of emergency on the back of the Galamsey menace?
We do not have to state our position. It is the position of His Excellency the President. And so when such a decision is taken, definitely it will be communicated.
Thank you very much. Afrechon Ibuade is the Deputy Attorney General. Niayiko Otu is a former Attorney General who joined us. And as we speak, there's a press conference just about to start. And a group that is protesting what is currently happening with the Galamsey issue is planning to embark on the 3-day protest tomorrow, and they're called the Concerned Citizens Against Galamsey, and that protest is just about to start. The police service have issued a statement, a very detailed statement on this planned protest tomorrow. James Abaji is with me in the studio. What are we learning from the police on this?
Well, Evans, the police have been two key issues detailing the various routes the protests will be happening through in Accra, and also their additional responsibility on these days that the protests will be happening. So let me take you through the route. According to the statement, the demonstration will begin from Okponglo near the University of Ghana Stadium. That is the converging point for the demonstrators to travel through Okponglo traffic light towards Shiashi, and the Standard Authority traffic light through Shangri-La to Airport traffic light, and then right to the Association International School through the National Service Secretariat and merge into the Kaukudi traffic intersection. It will continue through Kanda Highway to the Accra High School Junction, and also move through the Electoral Commission office, go to the Ridge Hospital, and through the AU roundabout to Parliament House, and proceed from there through the Osu Cemetery, and finally end at the Accra Sports Stadium.
And the police
car park
is reminding them about their responsibilities under the law.
Exactly, the responsibility to make sure that they do this according to the law, and also reminding them that the police will be closing routes that could, if taken, could breach public peace as also result in vehicular traffic. And so let me go through that point for you. They said the police have an additional responsibility to, one, assist in the proper conduct of any special event by directing the route of such event to prevent obstruction of pedestrians or vehicular traffic. They would also disperse at any special event where the police has reasonable grounds to believe that a breach of peace is likely to occur, or even a breach of the peace has occurred or occurring, in order to prevent violence, restore order, and preserve peace, and may cause to be closed such street or part thereof to pedestrians or vehicular traffic, or both, to make sure that everything go in order. They, as you said, advising the protesters to adhere to all of these directives to make sure that this goes on as peaceful as possible.
Okay, and the police is very clear that if anything happens that leads to damage to public property, the organizers will be held responsible. One of them, Camry Tego, is convener of the Concerned Citizens Against Galamsey, joins us on the line right now. Camry, clarify for me. I've seen this protest also dubbed Free the Citizens Protest, but I've also seen a police statement that this has also been planned to protest against illegal mining. Which is it?
Okay. Good evening, sir, and thank you very much for having me. Now, the underlying reason, or the main reason why we are protesting, is to say no to Galamsey or illegal mining, right? And that is the main reason why we are protesting. However, unfortunately for our brothers and sisters who wanted to have their voices heard on the issue, had been arrested and remanded by the police. So it was only fair and right that we equally make sure that we fight for them and say that free the citizens. And that is how come you are hearing two different, tags or codes to it. But I mean, the underlying reason for the protest is to say no to Galamsey. It needs to stop now. Stop Galamsey now.
And how are you planning to keep tomorrow's protest peaceful?
So we have been in conversations with the police. We went through the Public Order Act together, right? The police has the responsibility of maintaining law and order and providing security, right, to ensure that people do not people do not break the law as is. And of course, our responsibilities as organizers have been stated clearly and spelled out to us, right? So we are working with the police, and we have said that with the publicity that we are gaining for this particular protest, we are using the opportunity to tell people and sound a strong warning, really, for people who have made up their mind that they are going to come infiltrate this protest.
Oh, goodness. I just lost him there. Camry, do I have you? Okay.
Right. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now. You're talking about people planning to infiltrate.
Exactly. I'm saying that so we are using the opportunity to send a strong warning to people who want to come out and infiltrate the protest for reasons best known to them and then cause trouble and mayhem for us. That responsibility is upon us, and we have said that immediately there is a whiff or hint of anybody of that sort, we are handing them over to the police without batting an eye. Because what we are doing is supposed to be peaceful, but ensure that our voices are heard. So we are going according to the law, with the law, by the law, and everybody is going to enjoy their rights. We have the right to protest. Everybody equally has the right to go about their day peacefully. So really, we are working with the police on this.
Okay, Camry, thank you very much. Camry Tego is a convener of the Concerned Citizens Against Galamsey. They will be hitting the streets tomorrow to protest. In a related development, though, Lieutenant General Godfrey Ibadami has defended the government decision to prosecute members of the Democracy Hub following some unlawful incidents recorded during their protests against illegal mining.
As a renowned demonstrator myself, one of the founders of the Alliance for Equitable Governance, who in 2009 and 2010 embarked on many peaceful protests in Accra, I stand fully for the realization of the right to free expression. However, that right is always exercised subject to the injunction contained in Article 12, Clause 2 of the Constitution. That is, the public interest and respect for the rights and freedoms of others. The peace and territorial integrity of our nation at this time, 2 months before election 2024, is far greater than the pursuit of any parochial political goals, just as the right to free expression is no more paramount than the right of others to access essential services and the duty of the police to maintain the peace of Ghana. As I always say, freedom is not free. It is accompanied by serious responsibilities, and it is up to the entire nation, particularly the judiciary, to ensure that the gains and triumphs of the past remain intact for generations of Ghanaians unborn.
And that is Attorney General Godfrey Badam. Newsnight starts right now.
It is 66 days to the presidential and parliamentary elections. Hello, good evening and welcome to Newsnight. Coming up, more labor unions unite to lay down their tools indefinitely to put pressure on government to declare a state of emergency on Galamsey, with the latest group being GPRTU and the Concerned Drivers Association serving notice no car moves on the 10th of October.
All GPRTU nationwide will lay down our tools. Nobody will work until otherwise. On the 10th of this very October, no vehicle is moving. We will sit down and demonstrate. We will not let any trotro or long-distance vehicle move in the country.
We'll hear from the Trades Union Congress, which says 24 hours after that declaration of a nationwide strike, government is yet to reach out for any form of negotiation.
No, not any that I have seen, and I'm not sure any of our leaders have seen anything. They have not communicated anything personally to me, but if they have done so with other leaders, I would have been in the known.
Also, Electoral Commission rejects calls by the opposition NDC to allow for their IT systems to be examined by an inter-party committee.
The MPP and government have started public.
And so, trying to review the IT system, we need to know the purpose for which we want to do that. But however, I must put it in public that we have nothing to hide.
We have details as the EC says this demand will be considered after the Commission presents the revised register to the political parties. Also, NDC presidential candidate John Dramani Mahama accuses the NPP of circulating fake opinion polls, asserting that every credible poll points to an NDC victory.
The MPP and government have started publishing fake opinion polls that have no methodology. Opinion polls where you cannot find the people who did the research.
We are live in Wale Wale as he campaigns in the hometown of the NPP presidential candidate, Dr. Bawumia. And later in our climate focus series, we'll tell you how Ghana is losing about 10% of its indigenous tree species due to deforestation.
There seems to be too much onslaught on the forest now from all angles. If we lose the forest and even we try to restore it, you will not get it as it used to be.
We ask, can prophecies determine which presidential candidate is voted for? We'll sample your views from the streets.
Because prophecy can't influence me, but I can influence someone in the rural area.
It's a big no to me. I'm a student of politics and I'll leave spiritual matters to spiritualists.
And in business?
Rising food prices push September inflation to 21.5%, with items like yam, tomatoes and onions driving the spike.
In sports?
Asante Kotoko climbed to second place in the Ghana Premier League after a win over Nswatraman.
My name is Fostina Safan. I'm doing this with...
my name is Mensah. I will be taking your views and comments here on Newsnight. 055-1111-997 is the WhatsApp line. Details after this.
There's a business in every woman, from the young lady brimming with exciting and novel business ideas to the market queen managing her empire. There's the she architect, quantity surveyor, realtor, business consultant, crafting dreams into reality, and the multitasking mom, seamlessly blending work at home. The entrepreneur, meticulously checking stock. To the corporate woman, sealing deals on the move. Indeed, there's a business in every woman. Introducing Telecel Women in Business, our initiative to empower women-led and women-owned enterprises. Benefit from tailored activities, networking, business and technical support, free webinars, trainings, and more. To join this initiative, be a female-led business and a Telecel business customer. Visit telecel.com.gh/business to register now.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. Me I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me da na maga with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello, my name is Mamiekia, an entrepreneur and a mother of two. My work keeps me busy most of the time, and sometimes it takes me away from my family. But the safety and health of my family is very important to me. As a working mother, I cannot afford to take any chances when it comes to matters of health. That is why I signed up for a family healthcare plan from Equity Health Insurance. My family and I have access to over 700 hospitals, clinics, opticians, dentists, pharmacies, and diagnostic centers across the length and breadth of Ghana. With Equity Health Insurance, I no longer have to worry about medical bills anytime a member of my family visits a hospital. Equity Health Insurance has got my family and I covered. What about you? Who has got you covered?
Call Equity Health Insurance on 050-660-7910 and talk to them about your family health needs now. Visit equityhealthinsurance.com for more information. Equity Health Insurance, here for you.
I'm Dr. Danlati Jr., the flag bearer for the GCPP, popularly known as domestication. We hope and we pray that these elections will be run peacefully, and we seek peace in all aspects of this election. Ghana is a peaceful country, and we pray that peace prevails at all times. Hashtag choose peace Ghana.
You're still live here on News 90s on Joy 99.7 FM. I'll be sharing your thoughts with the rest of the world. 05511119997. And just yesterday, Organized Labor declared that indefinite nationwide strike beginning from the 10th. And tonight, we're hearing from other unions here uniting now to say they will be joining. The latest being the GPRTU. What more are we learning tonight from TUC itself, Fostina?
Indeed, Evans, more labor unions are declaring their readiness to lay down their tools to pile pressure on government to declare a state of emergency on illegal mining. Already, we know that the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, the National Association of Teachers, NAT, the Media Coalition Against Galamsey have all declared their support for the indefinite nationwide strike declared by organized labor on Tuesday after the expiration of a one-month ultimatum to government. We know that TUC and other unions have been demanding the revocation of LI 2462 and also the declaration of a state of emergency on all illegal mining activities. Well, my colleague Emefa Deti engaged the Deputy Secretary General of TUC, Dr. Kwabna Yanko Otu, who says since the declaration of the strike yesterday, they are yet to hear from government.
Nothing has changed. So we are still in preparation to undertake the strike come 10th of October 2024.
Well, so between yesterday and today, have you seen any intention from the government to want to engage you in any form?
No, not any that I have seen. And I'm not sure any of our leaders have seen anything. They have not communicated anything personally to me. But if they have done so with other leaders, I would have been in the known.
Now, should government decide to engage in any way, are you still going to go on a strike even if they like to meet you halfway?
Okay, so we outline a number of demands. Okay, we expect that government to fully accede to all those demands. But of course, we are also a body that does engagement a lot, and we are open for engagement. At the end of the day, our objective is to ensure or to see that Galamsey, particularly in forest reserves and the water bodies, are brought to a complete halt. Then after that, we can have a discussion on the broader question of mining and its impact on the Ghanaian society, particularly on the things that matter to us, forests and water, for example.
And so you say the forest and the water, where you like as a reserve, describe as reserve, should not be touched in any way. And that's, at least if government is able to do that one, you're looking to consider or reconsider the date, the 10th of October?
Yeah, we are. But, I mean, so the objective is not merely to strike for the sake of striking. The objective is to end Galamsey.
Well, organized labor also demanded the revocation of LI 2462. But the big question really is that Parliament is currently on recess with the 8-day ultimatum now, and the countdown is still on. Parliament won't be back before the expiration of that 10th October deadline. So what happens? This is Dr. Otu's suggestion to government.
I also know that in invoking emergency powers, you can do it and later get to Parliament. So you don't need to do the other way around. But, I mean, just come to think of it, that as far back as 2001, when civic action, people were already talking about illegal mining, there was a conscious attempt to prevent mining in forest reserves. Then in 2017, government and the president put its presidency online to fight Galamsey illegal mining. And it's then become very surprising that some 2, 3, 4 years down the line, 2022, we now could pass a legislative instrument that formally allow mining in the forest reserves. It's difficult to understand why. And we think that legal or illegal, small scale or large scale, mining should not be allowed in a forest reserve, and it should not be allowed on water bodies. Now, even the big mines that are mined, they also have impact on water bodies. So they now have the capability to direct the course of water around rivers. And I think somebody, maybe from the Water Resource Commission or somebody, should be able to tell us what are the impact when those big mining companies are able to do certain things. What are the impact? I mean, just travel across the country. Our rivers are dying. And I think at this point in time, it's all about what we can do collectively to revive those rivers, but also to preserve our forests.
Well, tonight, the biggest transport union, the Ghana Private Roads Transport Union, GPRTU, and their counterparts, the Concerned Drivers Association, are the latest to fully declare their readiness to join the industrial action by organized labor. Let's listen to the Public Relations Officer of GPRTU, Ibrahim Abbas Moro, and the Public Relations Officer of the Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana, David Aguado.
Come on the 10th, all GPRTU nationwide will lay down our tools. Nobody will work.
How many drivers are we talking about as far as the GPRT is concerned?
My brother, as many as you could count, because we operate all over the 16 regions. Undisputedly, we are the leading transport operators as well. And I strongly believe we are not doing this for GPRT, but we are doing this for Ghana. As long as the Galamsey issue keep destroying our water bodies and creating problems for anybody who consumes any water in that condition, then means nationwide. By coming out again, don't expect only GPRT. You expect all transport operators as well.
And so on the 10th, almost tens of thousands of drivers under GPRTU who sit at home, they will not put their cars on the road.
Yes, if nothing changes, that's exactly what everybody should expect.
No movement.
The
country
until otherwise. On the 10th of this very October, no vehicle is moving. We will sit down and demonstrate. We will not move our vehicle. We will not let anybody, any trotro or long distance vehicle move in the country.
So I get the sense that on the 10th of October, there will be no commercial vehicle on the street across the country to pick passengers from one point to the other.
Exactly so. If organized labor and TUC are doing this to save Mother Ghana, we will all join hands by parking our cars as the whole nation. This is not a Obienya issue.
What's the number of drivers we are talking about in this association, and which part of the country will be affected?
This is 16 regions. Even if concerned drivers, we have a region, even in a region, we have only 500 drivers in a region. 16 regions. We are talking of a huge number of drivers that are parking.
Fostina, we can bring in now the National Labour Commission. The law requires that organised labour must notify if indeed you plan to embark on a strike such as this. There's a stipulated time within which they must do so. Fusa Samoa, Executive Secretary, joins us right now. Thank you, sir, for your time. I wonder if you've received notification from organised labour on this planned indefinite strike from the 10th. Hello, Mr. Samoa. Okay, I don't seem to have him on the line. We'll try and get him back just to understand that, because the legal processes laid out for all public sector workers to follow if they plan to embark on a strike. I want to establish if that has happened, but as we speak tonight, we know that at least TUC has said that this is going to happen under their watch. We have heard from the GPRTU. And before the strike was announced, we know other private sector players and industry players have announced that they will also be joining. The key question then is, how is private sector going to enforce this strike from the 10th, particularly journalists? We're waiting for some clarity from the GJA on this, but the Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission is on with us. Mr. Samar, thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
Yeah, thank you.
Great to have you. I wonder if you have received notification from organised labour public sector workers that they are, going on an indefinite strike from the 10th.
Yeah, but we have not received any formal communication or notification from them.
But you've heard the announcement. What's your
yes, we have heard the announcement and we are taking judicial notice of it. Except that the government and the private sector against whom the strike is directed have also not complained.
Sorry, I may have lost you there briefly. You said they are also not cooperating?
We haven't received any complaint from the government and the private sector against whom the strike is directed. We are workers who are going to restrain themselves from going to work.
Unfortunately, we have a terrible connection to him. We'll try and re-establish connection, and hopefully we can get him on a better line so we can hear his point on this particular subject. But I want to hear from you. Will you be joining that strike on the 10th of October? Please share your thoughts with us on WhatsApp 055-1111-997. You've heard organised labour declare this indefinite strike, and they want all of you to join them on that day for the strike. So will you be laying down your tools on that day? I'll share a few of your thoughts with the rest of the world pretty shortly. So live your Newsnight is on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, the National Association of Graduate Teachers has expressed strong dissatisfaction with what it describes as a rampant and unjust interdiction of its office holders, particularly heads of senior high schools. NAGRA President Enjo Kabano has called for the reinstatement of head mistresses of the Ahantaman Girls High School in Sekendi and St. Rose's Senior High School in Equatia. Now, the two were told by the Ghana Education Service to step down while being investigated for allegedly taking unauthorized monies from their students. But the interdicted head teachers, according to Angel Kabanu, are not guilty of the accusations and should be reinstated immediately.
As we speak, the headmistresses of Ahantaman Senior High School and the headmistress of the Roses Senior High School in Abuja have been interdicted by by the management of the Ghana Education Service. And the reason for their interdiction is simply because they have been accused of unlawfully collecting money from students and parents contrary to the rules and regulations of the Ghana Education Service. So they are on interdiction. And when we look at the details of the interdiction, we realize that these headmistresses, hard-working headmistresses, have not been treated fairly. So we are calling on the management of the Ghana Education Service to reinstate them to their position so that they can continue to do their work. When monies are collected by these PE, it doesn't mean that the money is being collected by the head of the school and the money is going into the pocket of the head of the school. That is absolutely wrong. I've asked for the immediate reinstatement of the head of these heads of the schools. So we are watching, and we hope good sense will prevail for peace and harmony to prevail in our schools.
And that there is Angel Kabonu, who has been speaking to us on the interdictions as we've seen it today. We'll bring you more on that subsequently. Still live here on News 90s on Joy 99.7 FM. And I'll be sharing with you a few of your thoughts on our social media platforms right now. And keep them coming, 055 11 997 pretty shortly.
Well, let's do some other stories now, and this time we'll tell you about YEA and why they're in the news tonight. Well, we have been hearing from organized labor. It's time to put our attention now on the Chief Executive Officer of the Youth Employment Agency, because he is demanding an immediate suspension of the management services contract between the agency and Zoom Lion. YEA has a contract with Zoom Lion to manage hundreds of sanitation workers across the country who sweep the streets and other public spaces. The government says Zoom Lion is being paid 850 cedis per sweeper through YA, from which the company pays the sweepers 250 Ghana cedis and keeps 600 Ghana cedis as management and logistics fees. Now, some of these sweepers have not been paid for more than a year, prompting the YA to demand a review of the arrangement. My colleague Kweku Asante joins me in the studio with more details of a letter from YA CEO to the board of the agency. Kweku, what is the background to this letter from the YA?
So, Fostina, this is actually referenced in that letter that we have seen from Kofi Japan, the YA CEO, to the board. He writes that, quote, at the meeting held on Wednesday, 29th May 2024, the board of the agency proposed some amendments to the management services agreement between the Youth Employment Agency and Messrs. Zoom Lion Ghana Limited. In a letter dated 31st May 2024, the agency sent a proposal to Zoom Lion for their acceptance or otherwise.
I'm quite interested in this proposed amendment by YA to Zoom Lion. What was the response of Zoom Lion according to this letter we have seen?
So we understand that YEA had proposed that out of the 850 cedis paid to Zoom Lion per sweeper, YEA wanted to directly pay the 250 cedis meant for the sweepers directly to the sweepers and then pay the remainder to Zoom Lion as their fees. But Zoom Lion are opposed to this arrangement according to the letter. To quote directly, it says, at the meetings held on 8th July 2024 in person and 26th July 2024 virtual, Messrs. Zoom Lion Ghana Limited vehemently opposed the proposal for, quote, the agency to take over the payment of beneficiaries' allowance upon the expiration of the 6-month extension period and strongly insisted again that, quote, the agency renews the contract to enable them secure credit facilities from financial institutions before beneficiaries of the modules will be paid the outstanding allowances.
Kweku, the YA CEO, he also speaks about how hundreds of these sweepers have not been paid, and he calls for an immediate suspension of the arrangement. Expatiate on that for me.
The letter says, quote, respectfully, it must be highlighted that Zoom Lion has failed to pay beneficiaries' allowances for over 1 year, resulting in some beneficiaries engaging in strike actions and picketing around some regional and district offices of the agency to demand the outstanding monthly allowances. Pursuant to the above, management humbly proposes that the module should be suspended forthwith for the various MMDAs to take over the cleaning of the streets till a clear direction of management on this is proposed in a meeting with the Ministry of Finance to find solutions on resolving the outstanding beneficiaries' allowances. This is the letter that was actually sent from the YEA CEO to the board of the agency.
Thank you, Kweku Asante.
Indeed, we can speak to the Director of Communications and Corporate Affairs at Zoom Lion Ghana, Emma Adjoa Pia Osaidia, joins us on the line right now. Emma, thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you very much.
Is it true that you haven't paid some of the sweepers for more than a year?
We have been here again.
Is it true that you haven't paid some of the sweepers for up to a year?
We haven't paid some of the sweepers, but it is not up to a year.
How long has it been?
We have not paid them for, I think, 9 months, because we have paid 4 months each person.
Why haven't you paid them for 9 months?
Say again.
Why haven't you paid them
Say
for
again,
9?
359.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Why haven't you paid them? Why haven't you paid them for 9 months?
Okay. The contract is such that we will have to pre-finance the payment for some time before it is reimbursed. So we have done that for a couple of quarters. And there is discussion going on between us and the owners of the contract regarding the reimbursement.
So you haven't paid the sweepers because government has not paid you?
This line.
Can you hear me?
Please say it again.
I'm just clarifying. You haven't paid these sweepers for 9 months because government hasn't paid you yet?
We haven't paid them because we are still having discussions with our partners.
When you say partners, clarify.
The owners of the contract, the YEA.
Of course, that's government. So YEA hasn't paid you. They owe you.
I am saying that there is a discussion between our authorities and the YEA regarding the contract. So that is the cause of the hold-up.
Okay, so what are you discussing about the contract? What about the contract has been discussed that is holding this up?
The entire contract.
What about it specifically?
I will not be able to give you specifics. That is why I said the entire contract, please.
Has the contract been suspended?
No. Not that I know of, please.
You paid the sweepers from this YEA letter 250 cedis. Although government pays you through YEA 850. So you take home 600 cedis. Is that even conscionable?
We do not take home 600 cedis. If you have had hold of the contract document, you will see the breakdown of that total amount of 8. Owners of the contract, someone goes to the beneficiaries, and they also are responsible for the payment for the logistics. That is also the thing. And they also pay us for our management of the contract.
So how much do you pay the sweepers?
That is the amount stated in the document you mentioned, that 250 is the amount that goes to the sweepers.
So the sweepers, you pay them 250 cedis?
That is what we are assigned to pay.
You assigned them, or YEA did assign that to the sweepers?
YEA assigns them to us, and we assign them the areas they have to work.
But you make the decision to pay the sweepers 250 cedis? No,
we do not.
So
YEA decides, and it is stated in the contract. Both parties agree and signed.
So you're saying that is YEA's decision to pay the sweepers 250 cedis?
Yes, because they give us the men to work with, and we sit with them to negotiate with the rates that they bring up. We have even on our own over the years proposed for an upliftment in the payment for the beneficiaries since we started doing this contract.
You made that proposal.
We have done this review twice.
You made a proposal to YEA to increase how much the sweepers are paid.
Yes.
And the YEA's response to that was?
When we first started, they were taking something around, which is equivalent to today's 50 cedis. We did a proposal, and that went through. It was the amount was moved from 50 to, I've forgotten the amount. It's been so long. And we did another one, moved to the present amount.
You agree, don't you, that paying sweepers 250 cedis is simply unacceptable? It's just dehumanizing.
And that's the reason why I have given you instances where we have initiated a request for an increase in the amount that goes to the...
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'll find a place and park. I am in traffic right now.
The YEA is demanding an immediate suspension of the management services contract between yourself, between the YEA itself and you. Have you taken a decision on that? Is that a legitimate demand?
I have not cited that document, please.
Well, we have, and I'm telling you, that's their demand, that that contract be suspended.
All right. So when it comes to us, management will take a decision.
Thank you very much. And that there is the corporate communications manager with Zoom Lion there on that controversial subject of Zoom Lion, how much he's paying the sweepers, and she's providing her own clarity on this. We'll get the YEA's view on this particular matter. The Director of Communications and Corporate Affairs of Zoom Lion, Emma Adjo-Apia, hearing us. And apologies for the terrible connection at times in this particular interview. We'll get some clarity from the YEA pretty shortly on the claims made there. But George Yafe is joining me with business here on Newsnight. I will be sharing with you some thoughts from WhatsApp pretty shortly. And many of you are already joining us with these thoughts. 055111197. Particularly, will you be joining that nationwide strike that has been declared by organized labor beginning from the 10th of October? Here are a few of your views on that. This one from Nana J says the evidence is now clear. The so-called Apinkro community mining launched forcefully by the Deputy Lands and Natural Resources Minister is indeed galamsey, as the farmers have always said. Kofi Siedu Konongo says if the government cannot halt galamsey amidst the public outcry, then Ghanaians should vote them out. Samina Dabraka says, yes, I will join. We have gotten here because of poor leadership. Never again should the presidency be reduced this low. Joe from Circle says, I'm fully in support of the impending strike action if that is the only language the president understands. Nana Kwamwa says, I will join any demo. There are better ways organized labor can. I will not, he says, I will not join any demo. There are better ways organized labor can use to drum home their demand. And Sam in Laboni says, can we also call on parliamentarians to make statements on Stop Galamsey now? Or maybe those of them who support the banning of illegal mining must come out. They are our representatives in the various constituencies, and we must therefore demand of them to stop galamsey. A few of your thoughts there. And George Yafe is joining me right now, and he is firmly in support of the Stop Galamsey crusade. George.
Well, Evans, items like tomatoes, yam, and onions pushed September inflation to 21.5%. We'll be getting you more details on the bulletin. And Ghana Revenue Authority to establish marine unit to help fight smuggling along the country's water bodies. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business.
You see them. You see them every day in our communities, doing what they do best to make a difference in the lives of people. You see them. You see them bring positive transformation to the lives of people in the areas of education, health, and economic empowerment. While many will see them and turn their faces away, you see them. You see their efforts, and you know they're heroes who deserve to be celebrated. MTN Heroes of Change is setting out to unearth and to celebrate a new set of heroes. You can throw the light on the heroes you see in your community by nominating them to win 100,000 Ghana cedis and other prizes to help them expand their work. Just fill an online nomination form at mtn.com.gh or send a WhatsApp with a 1-minute video of your nominee's project on 055 141 1122. Deadline for nominations is 18th October 2024, so don't waste time. Nominate your hero now. MTN Heroes of Change. Be the change you wish to see.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. For call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Yeah. We have a new leader in town. Obiarenti. Amafo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal pack with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
This October, come and encounter Jesus in a way you've never experienced before. The Maker's House Chapel International presents Experience Conference 2024 under the theme Jesus. From 6th to 13th October, join us for a week of divine connection and spiritual renewal. Be transformed by powerful ministrations from anointed men of God, Pastor Jonathan Miller, Reverend Eastwood Anaba, Dr. Dion Bias, and your host, Dr. Michael Brady Nyamiche. The venue is the Destiny Arena of the Maker's House Chapel International, Atomic Atchison School of Nuclear and Allied Sciences. Weekday services start 6:30 p.m. and weekends 8 a.m. Experience Conference 2024. Don't just hear about it, be a part of it. Experience Jesus.
The luckiest
star 712 #
luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah.
Welcome and now for a daily star 712 # and found no regrets. A side comma investors are striking gold. A comma health workers are a diagnosing luck with precision. A side comma that tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. Say a comma passionate fan on also entering containing a joy. Affair to the seamstresser or turning a hard-earned stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now a comma if you say your next big win is right here.
Star 712 #. Luck is everywhere.
Dial star 712 # and join the luckiest winning celebration. From the 1st of July 2024, dial star 712 # to keep buying tickets as a group, individual, or even as a community. Win loads of cash and prizes in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with star 712 #. Join the winning streak now.
The luckiest
star 712 #.
Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, rising prices of foodstuffs push September inflation rate to new levels. The Ghana Statistical Service puts the rate at 21.5%. Tomatoes, yam, and onions were some of the food items that spike that were recorded. James Shen has the rest of the story.
Before the current increase, inflation had gone down for 5 consecutive months. The report revealed that inflation on locally produced items and imported items also increased. Inflation on imported items increased to 17% from 16.1% in August, whereas locally produced items recorded an inflation of 23.4% from 22.2% in August 2024. Here is government statistician Professor Samuel Kobina-Enim.
In the month of September 2024, year-on-year rate of inflation stood at 21.5%, indicating that between September 2023 and September 2024, the average price levels of goods and services went up by 21.5%.
With the increase in food inflation to 22.1% from 19.1% in August, Professor Samuel Kobina-Enim urged government and other stakeholders to address seasonality challenges.
We're hoping that going forward we can address these seasonalities, as it's one of the, I would say, topical issues in the PFJ2 document, to ensure that as a country, seasonality does not influence the production of our agricultural products.
Restaurant and accommodation services recorded 27.9%, whereas alcoholic beverages, tobacco and narcotics recorded 27.6%. Also, housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels recorded 26.4%, education services at 23.7%, and health recorded 22.3%, as well as food and non-alcoholic beverages also recorded 22.1%. The items recorded higher inflation than the overall rate of inflation of 21.5% for September 2024. James Chen's report for Joy Business.
To other stories, Guinness Ghana Breweries has ruled out passing on the rising cost of operations to consumers. There are fears that the brewery giant will be forced to increase prices again due to the recent hikes in tea tariffs and the exchange rate shocks. But speaking at the Ghana Stock Exchange Facts Behind the Figures program, Managing Director Felicity Sean says that there's a limit that they can pass on these costs to consumers.
We also implemented price increase, but there's also an extent to which we can increase price as we look at the how much more the consumers are willing to pay. So we do a lot around ensuring that we reduce our cost of operating. We know exactly where we have the biggest impact. So that's why all the productivity work streams that are in place are there to ensure that we reduce and we mitigate the impact as much as possible.
Felicity Son is the Managing Director of Guinness Ghana Breweries. Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority is working with the Ghana Armed Forces to establish a marine unit for the Customs Division. The move is expected to fight smuggling along the country's maritime boundaries. Now, Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Julia Sion, believes that this will strengthen the security of the various border posts. She made this disclosure when the Chief of Staff paid a courtesy call at the headquarters of the Ghana Revenue Authority here in Accra.
From securing our borders against illegal trade and smuggling to supporting one another in times of national emergency, we are hoping that the election will not become a national emergency, but these are some of the areas that we collaborate. We have seen, CDS, at first hand how our partnership has contributed to national security and economic growth. The armed forces have supported us, GRA, in several ways over the years to mobilize revenue for national development. Currently, the authority is collaborating with the Ghana Armed Forces to establish a customs marine unit, as well as developing strategic partnerships to fight smuggling that we continue to see across our borders. I must say, these collaborations are working so well.
Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Julia Siam. Now, Delta Airlines has introduced a new Airbus A330-900 aircraft on its New York-Accra-New York route today. The new aircraft will add approximately 30% more capacity. Now, speaking to Joy Business at the launch of this new flight, Director of Global Communications at Delta Airlines for Europe, Middle East and Africa and India, Rafael Elbas, assured customers of excellent services.
This aircraft is 25% more fuel efficient
than the aircraft that it replaces. So in terms of fuel, we use less, which also means that we are less heavy with fuel when we take off, which means that one of the reasons why the cargo capacity is up so much more. Our maximum takeoff weight is higher, but also we need less fuel, which is always a good thing. And then in terms of price, I would really like to focus on the value that we offer to the passengers. And we have a great value proposition on this aircraft with premium seats, ambient lighting, and just the warmth and the comfort of the Delta flight attendants that you're already used to from us. Our future, this is one big step in terms of 30% additional capacity. Then we fly as well to Senegal, and we fly to Lagos. We fly to Johannesburg in South Africa, and we recently opened Cape Town. So this is the key cities in Africa for us at this moment, but we are continuously evaluating, looking at economic growth figures, looking where the demand is, and we will continuously evaluate and make decisions on the basis of that.
Director of Global Communications at Delta Airlines for Europe, Middle East, Africa and India, Ralph Albers. Now, CalBank has given the firm assurance that it remains committed to supporting communities in which it operates, as well as other sectors. To this end, the 2003-2024 batch of the National Service Personnel at the bank has successfully completed the renovation and expansion of a 6-unit classroom block at New Sowajan Basic School located at Shalibuchi here in Accra. Let's hear from Andy Apienimasi, who is head of people and culture at CalBank.
And being an indigenous bank, we see it as a responsibility to really be, a responsible business and then collaborate with the communities we operate. So, this Sowadin school is very close to our branch here in Asalibuche, and we operate in this community. And to see a school building in such a, deplorable states, felt that we could be able to help. So this 6-unit classroom was under construction, was abandoned and wasn't done. We've extended it and made it into a 6-block classroom so that the kids can have a conducive environment to learn and then deliver quality education to these people.
Andy Apienimasi is head of people and culture at CalBank. To the stock market, if you're a shareholder in ETI Ecobank Transnational Incorporated, is up by 10 pesos. For you guys out there. That's all for business on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, George. And Granton is here with sports.
Let's go straight into the stories. And Asante Kotoko, they climbed to second place in the Ghana Premier League with a win over Nswatriman earlier today. Elvis Chibafo's 47th minute strike was a difference maker in Kotoko's 1-0 win. The victory sees Kotoko extend their unbeaten run in this season and are now just a point away from league leaders Midiama. Elsewhere, defending champions FC Samatex, they were held to a 1-1 draw at home against Bibiani Gold Stars. The UEFA Champions League Match Day 2 action continues later today with our commentary game live on Hits 103.9 FM featuring Lille against Real Madrid. That's all for sports. Back to you, Evans.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's do some other stories now. A new training initiative is equipping conservation practitioners and managers with innovative approaches to preserve and rejuvenate Ghana's endangered tree species and their natural habitat. Now, over 10% of the country's indigenous tree species are at risk, making the development of effective conservation and restoration tactic in their native environments a pressing necessity. In our Climate Focus series today, Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin explores the critical need for novel methods to restore and protect Ghana's forest.
1/5 of the Earth's land surface is degraded, affecting the well-being of over 3 billion people. There is a crucial need to restore 1.5 billion hectares of land by 2030. Etuahene Yako from the Resource Management Support Center of the Forestry Commission reflects on the past 20 years.
The forest was in a far better state as we are seeing today. We are supposed as Forestry Commission to be improving on what is there. But there seems to be too much onslaught on the forest now, from all angles. By nature, we are suffering from wildfires and others. And then we also have people attacking the forest in terms of harvesting and illegal mining.
Yao emphasizes the importance of forest protection.
If we lose the forest and even we try to restore it, we can never get it back to its original state. When you destroy that one and you plant, you are putting in together maybe maximum 10 species in maybe a square hectare, in a hectare of land. But if you take a typical tropical forest, you can have over 650 plant species within that area that we are talking of. So you will be reducing the quality of the forest. Although you will try to put some trees back, you will not get it as it used to be. So it's important, first, we protect the forest by not destroying them, and then the little that maybe will be destroyed will have to be planted back.
It's focused around
Dr. Rosie Trevelyan, director of the Tropical Biological Association, says interventions are crucial for ensuring healthy and functional forests in Ghana. Meanwhile, INEC Ghana has already restored 120 hectares of degraded land, with plans to restore an additional 240 hectares in 2024 using native species. David Kwarteng serves as the executive director of the organization.
We are using the community approach through agroforestry, where the communities get the opportunity to plant crops, then to be able to feed their families, whilst they take care of the trees that we have planted. And so far, we are seeing tremendous improvement in the tree cover.
Organizations such as Arocha Ghana and Goshen Global Vision are leading various initiatives aimed at environmental protection through sustainable practices.
So my name is Hobson Eli Etra. I work with Arocha Ghana as the Chibi Landscape Manager. As part of the Franklina project, we are looking at 19 species that are endangered, 3 species that are endangered, and how to strengthen their needs and their use in the communities. We are engaging with the communities to identify these species. We are engaging with the communities to monitor the phenologies of these species when they are fruiting, when they are seeding, that they help to collect the seeds and do the propagation.
Forest protectors are urged to undo the damage caused by Ghanaian communities, giving their children and future generations a chance at a better future.
It is the responsibility of all of us to protect the forest and then also to restore it, because that is what, especially if you are a Christian, we all believe that that is what God told our forefathers, Adam and Eve, to do in the garden, that we should manage the natural environment that He has given us.
A report by Mohamed Nuruddin.
Climate Focus is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging gaps for positive youth development, and the Climate Development Knowledge Network.
And you're still live here on Newsnight. This is your election headquarters.
Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing dreams, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants CIMA, and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants AICPA, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness and Beauty, Chopbox Technologies, a convenient service, and Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development.
Well, tonight, the NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama is accusing the NPP and the government of fabricating fake opinion polls, stating that all credible opinion polls have predicted that the NDC would win the 2024 general election. Well, these remarks come as he intensifies his campaign, taking it to Dr. Bawumia's home region, Northeast, where the NDC has vowed to defeat the NPP presidential candidate in his own backyard.
Have given us the assurance that they are going to change the government on 7th December 2024 and bring the NDC back to come and continue the good work that we were doing when we had the reins of government. All the credible opinion polls have predicted that NDC is going to win. And so because of that, the MPP and government have started publishing fake opinion polls that have no methodology, opinion polls where you cannot find the people who did the research. And so ignore all those fake opinion polls. Everything indicates, and every credible institution, Economic Intelligence Unit, Fish Solutions, Global Info Analytics, every proper, credible opinion poll shows that NDC is going to win the election.
Maxwell Agbagba joins us live from the Northeast region. Maxwell, he also assured Muslims in the country that an extra Eid holiday would be granted under a future NDC government. Tell us more.
Yes, exactly. He says that he expressed concerns actually about how the unpredictability of the moon sighting has prevented Muslims from fully enjoying their holidays. He also said that the cost of embarking on the Hajj pilgrimage when NDC was in power, it cost just 11,000 cedis and now costs a little over 70,000 cedis, promising to reduce the cost, make it easier for Muslims to embark on that pilgrimage.
Thank you, Maxwell Agbagba. Let's take you now to the camp of the NPP flag bearer, Dr. Bawumia, who has been touring the Western North region. He's been gauging feedback from chiefs and people there on pragmatic ways to implement his bold solutions when elected, should he be elected into power. Now in Seshi Rioso, the chief of Seshi and the Krontihini of Seshi Rioso Traditional Council, Nana Ofori Ahinkan II, promised to reward government for the laudable projects that they have executed in the area.
Sesiano campaign, campaign more policies, and the munyuma already no. Aye campaign na mamo. And no I call Kunji Abofie, Sahimangura, Omiati Asiase, what da. Na yebetu ama boom 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 boom. This opportunity to say a big thank you to Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia for coming to Bonsai. We never thought this day was going to happen, but he has made it happen. We thank you so much. We thank the NPP government for helping us with the road construction for both Draboso and Bonsai town roads. Thank you so much.
Well, President Akufo-Addo has also been pledging his commitment to ensure free, fair and peaceful elections. According to him, he has no interest in subverting the will of the people. He has been speaking in a meeting with the clergy, Muslim clerics and chiefs in the Upper West region.
Everything is going to be done by my government and myself to make sure that the elections of December 7th are going to be free, fair and transparent. Everybody with the power of the vote and the thumb will have a say in determining who will be the next president and who will be the next member of parliament in your area. That is the beauty of democracy. The opportunity that is given to everybody to express themselves and to determine who best can respond to their preoccupation. As president, I cannot impose anybody on you. I don't have the power and I don't have the interest. I want the decision, just as I was elected. The next person to stand here in my shoes will also be elected by the people of Ghana. That as an 80-year-old man who has been a two-term president of Ghana and who has been involved in a lot in most of Ghana's recent history, certainly in the history of the Fourth Republic, I'm in a good position to advise who should come and stand in my shoes. I believe that the best person to do that is the MPP flag bearer, my vice president, Mahamadou Bawumia.
That's the president there. And Fosi, do you believe in prophecies?
I do, actually.
What about if it has to do with elections?
Well, not actually.
Okay.
Because that would not influence my vote. And that's why we've been finding out from you what exactly would influence your vote. Because 2024 has turned out to be no exception. Prophecies are pouring out, and the onslaught of prediction about who would lead Ghana to the promised land over the next 4 years has already begun. But can that influence your vote? We took to the streets to find out.
I don't think prophecy should tell me who I should vote for. I should go and vote for. That is what I can see. Because me, prophecy can't influence me, but I can influence someone in the rural area or someone who is not educated. And my pastor can tell me who to go and vote for. So me, for instance, I don't think prophecy can influence me to go and vote for anybody.
Don't vote based on who your pastor recommends. Vote for someone who you believe can change the situation in the nation.
For a prophet to manipulate the outcome of an election is a big no to me. I'm a student of politics and I'll leave spiritual matters to spiritualists. But if you are looking at the election, you have to look at the dynamics and the elements of the election. They decide the outcome of the election.
As a proper spiritual analysis as far as elections are concerned there. And Fosti, that's it for News Night tonight.
It is. And Anima joins us in the studio.
Hello, people.
What should we expect tonight?
How are you? Are you considering prophecy for election or...
No, actually.
No?
Well, I don't believe in prophecies for elections.
Right. Evans, you?
No.
Okay, anyways. So, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we're getting into all the breast disease and the issues that have to do. This is the month where, you want to be, squeezing your wife's breast to check. And it can be a very pleasurable month. But seriously, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we want to bring, some light on...
Where's your pink though?
On breast. It's under my black.
Good place for it to be, actually.
Yeah. So anyway, we're having a conversation on breast cancer. You know that breast cancer also affects men. A lot of times we focus on the women, but this month we'll also be talking about how breast cancer affects men and supporting men through their breast cancer struggles. So we start tonight.
Okay. Stick your stay.